Hello everybody and Happy New Year. I'm filming this on the 1st of January 2020 and this is my last news and reviews for 2019. So most of the things that I read in December. So for the news point of view, just want you to go and find the latest YouTube video, actually from YouTube Representation, that's giving you all the updates on copper. And don't forget that starts now, and make sure that you label all your videos correctly if you're a content creator. And I think they've been giving us a little bit more clarity on that. There's a checklist, yeah, the same checklist, but they're also saying that, you know, because something's deemed as cute for children, as long as you can prove, you know, you need to prove that your channel is for adults and the content is made for adults. They're not going to come chasing after you because suddenly you've got a dog sat there or whatever, because you are making that content for children, for adults, sorry. So still we need more clarity, I feel. I still think it's a little bit ambiguous, but we're going in the right direction, so that is good news. So let's get on with what I've been reading, and I've got a couple of DNFs here. And unfortunately, although I hate to say it, one of my faves, Barbara Erskine, Sleeper's Castle. Loved the premise of this. I even got halfway through it. So, I mean, it's quite a chunky book. Over 500 pages. And we've got two timelines, which often she does do. And Miranda's actually going to house sit for a friend for a year because, you know, she's come to a bit of a difficult point in her life, and she's going there to house sit. And this is at Sleeper's Castle. And then we go back in time to somebody called Catherine, who used to live in the castle years and years ago, and when there were battles raging all around, and it's just on the border between England and Scotland, so it's somewhere that saw a lot of action because there used to be loads of conflicts there. Really enjoying it, but then I got to the middle and I had a big problem. I mean, it's slow, but the pacing, the pacing, I couldn't cope with it anymore. It just nearly came to a standstill, and it dragged on, and it was the same old, and I found that I just couldn't cope with picking it up. I didn't want to pick it up at all. So I've made the decision to DNF it, and it's a shame because I do like Barbara Erskine, but not this one. And then the next one I DNF'd was this, and this is new. If you've been looking at my series of the hauls that I made in December, Almost Love by Louise O'Neill, and this is about a toxic relationship. And you know, I really like those if they're done very well. I just couldn't get into it. Just me, you know, it has got some good ratings on Goodreads, but I just couldn't get into it at all, so I didn't bother. So that's Almost Love, even. Almost Love. Another disappointment. One of my Hamish Macbeths. And you all know that I love Hamish, but Death of a Gentle Lady. And goodness me, what a boring plot. 2.5 I gave this. This was, I think, probably the worst Hamish I've read. The plot wasn't that exciting. Not all that much happened. And if Hamish worried about his cat and his dog one more time, I'd have gone and rescued them myself. I was that fed up of him saying, oh, I hope my cat and dog's all right. Who can I get to look after my cat and dog? Angela, the doctor's wife, fed up looking after the cat and dog. Oh, I'll have to take the cat and dog with me. You get the picture? Drove me mad. So, yeah, 2.5. But, you know, I'm continuing because it's a series I love. And then I picked up one that's been on my shelves quite a while. It's a YA, If I Stay, by Gayle Forman. And the premise of this is really interesting, and I was expecting an emotional read. And I gave it 3 stars. There were moments in here where I felt that were very emotional, were very well written, made you think. You're quite thought-provoking. But overall, I think it could have just been done so much better. The premise of this is that we learn about a family, and they go out for the day in the car, and there's a nasty accident and fatalities involved, and Mia, one of the children, is seriously injured, on the verge of death. And it's a bit like reading a near-death experience, because the narrator is Mia herself, and we are hearing things from her perspective. And I liked that most of the sections in her perspective. I did like her thoughts and feelings, and then we go back to her voice in the past, the backstory, looking at moments, you know, as if you hear that your life flashes before you if you're on the verge of death, and she's hanging in the balance there. And I thought there could have been a lot more to the backstories, that as most important things in her life had flashed through before her. She would be reminiscing more important things and a bit more pounds to it. Sorry, my eyes keep diverting across because David's watching Big Jet TV, and we're at Heathrow Airport, and there's a fox. There's a fox in the middle of the runway. Everybody's watching that. He's not filming the planes anymore. Everybody's watching this poor fox. They've now got somebody that's come to try and catch it. I don't know how they're going to catch this fox. They've got planes landing left, right and centre, because, as you know, Heathrow's very busy. So I'm sorry, my eyes wandering, and I'm going, oh, poor fox, get out the way, get out the way. It's not safe for the fox or the aeroplanes, really. But I don't know how these two men in a yellow van are going to catch a fox in the middle of Heathrow runway, do you? So, yeah. Oh, it's still there, bless it. Anyway, sorry. Thought I'd just give you a bit of an update there. So, yeah, I think it's good for the YA audience. And, you know, obviously I'm not its target audience. But I just felt that parts of it could have had more of an impact. The sad parts, the meaningful, really shocking moments did have an impact, but then bits in between then fell rather flat for me. So 3 stars. Next, a new writer, a new author for me again. This is one from a recent haul, Murder Fest by Jewell Wassmer. I enjoyed this, good cosy crime. This is a few in the series, but it did well as a standalone. And Pearl's detective agency, but she's also a celebrity chef, as sort of a celebrity chef, and has a relationship with Detective Chief Inspector Mike Maguire, and there's been a bit of a murder at this this festival that's happening in the seaside town where she lives. So yeah, enjoyed it, nice cosy crime, 3 stars. Then get on to my 4 stars, and I've put this book away and I can't find where I've put it, so I'll leave a picture up here. And this one is, which is the one I've got? Right, one day in December. A Wedding in December, so I will put the picture here. I really enjoyed this. This is Sarah Morgan's new Christmas release. As you recall, I read The Christmas Sisters last year. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed Wedding in December. I enjoyed the characters, the plot. Definitely got a Christmas feel to it. The whole family go over to America because one of the daughters has recently met a new boy and is going to marry him over Christmas after knowing him only a few weeks. So really enjoyed that. So if you want to put it on your list for next Christmas, or if you still want your Christmas reads, if you can get it in the next week or so. So that was 4 stars. The next one, 4 stars, another Christmas read, One Day in December by Josie Silver. And again, this was a 4-star read, and not often I give 4 stars to like Christmassy type reads, but thoroughly enjoyed this. And the premise of this is there's a girl on a bus and she looks across a crowded bus out into the bus step in the middle distance and sees a stranger, a man that she really likes the look of and feels that she's got an instant attraction to him, and spends the next year looking for him, only to find out that you know, a year later he's going out with her best friend. So it's a bit of a I want to say family drama. It's got the feel of a family drama to it, but it also covers friendships, best friends, friends to lovers, and it's just got a really good plot. It's just not a light and fluffy Christmas read. You get the sense that this happens around Christmas time, but you know, it carries on throughout the rest of the year. So I think that you could read this any time of the year and still get the same feels from it. But I really did enjoy it, and that is One Day in December, Josie Silver. I'm going to catch up with some more of hers because I really liked her writing style. I think she's got a new one coming out soon, quite shortly. In fact, I think when I come round to my ones that I've been looking out for, new releases, I think it's on there. I can't remember what it's called. Next one, so I read 3 Christmas reads. This is It's a Wonderful Life, and this is by Jayne Admons.
Night.
It's a Wonderful Night. And the reason why I'm saying It's a Wonderful Life, because it's based around the film It's a Wonderful Life, and I've not watched that film at all. But everything in here is about a protagonist who is called Georgia, and she absolutely loves that film. And she was named, she's called Georgia Bailey, and apparently that's one of the characters was George Bailey, I think. And she meets up with somebody who loves It's a Wonderful Life film as well. There's some very important issues that's discussed in this as well. Again, not a light and fluffy read. It mostly is. And we've got a lovely sort of friends to lovers trope in here. But it also covers the death of the high street. And, you know, they've both got businesses on this particular high street, and it's, you know, practically dead, and the businesses are nearly all having to close down. And I think it raised some very important issues, because especially here in the UK, we are suffering from that. You know, many high streets are, you know, are full of boarded up shops. Many of the high streets here where we are, there's mainly charity shops and not much else on the main thoroughfare. And yeah, we've been there. We had a business on the high street, so very poignant, very well covered, and also homelessness is covered in here. So it, you know, I think there was some very important voices amongst the lovely plot of A Christmas Romance. So that's It's a Wonderful Night, Jayne Admons. Get that on your list, and I'll be looking out for more from her. And then finally, the one that I've just recently finished, and again, this is out of my recent book haul, because, you know, when I come to tell you about my new goals for 2020, I'm going to, you know, not have books and books and books on my shelves for 3-4 years like I have been doing. You know, if I'm excited enough to buy it, I need to be reading it. So again, this is the 3rd book in this haul I read straight in the month I bought it. So this is a thriller, The New Girl. And I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. This is by Ingrid Alexandra. This is her debut. And I've sort of, after I'd finished, I looked at the reviews. It's very polarising, I think. You know, people either loved it or hated it. And quite a lot of the comment was, oh, well, you could see everything coming. Well, you couldn't. And I think people are saying that. In my opinion, I didn't think you could. And I read a lot of thrillers. I think the reason why people are saying that is because from the blurb, and it's very clear from the start, that there's something dodgy about the new lodger. So we have Mary, who shares a flat with her best friend, trying to think of a name. I can't think of a name, a best friend's name. You know, when you've only just finished it and you can't remember the names. Kat. So a best friend, Kat, and also Ben, and they share a flat, and they need somebody else, a fourth, to come in. And it's very clear from the beginning that Rachel, who moves into this spare room, is dodgy. You know, she isn't all what she seems. I think she can't be trusted. She knows more about Mary than she lets on. And so therefore, it's as if you know what's coming. There's going to be something happens that's to do with this Rachel, and therefore you could see it coming if you look at it like that. But goodness me, there was a right twist at the end, and you know, there was more to it, far more to this story than the fact that Rachel really knew Mary, and Mary hadn't got a clue that Rachel knew her. So I think that was more in depth. I thought the writing was excellent. I thought the pacing was really good. I was on the edge of my seat. I was gripped. I read this I started it just before bed, which wasn't a good thing, but I did put it down and then finished it the next day in one sitting. The pacing was really good. I was on the edge of my seat. I was invested in all the characters. It was very similar to something that happened in Mary's life, which means that she had to hide away. So it was a bit like, you know, people that are on witness protection programs and they have to move away and start a new identity with nobody knowing them. That sort of scenario. There is a little bit of romance in here, and, you know, there are twists and turns. But excellent pacing, very gripping, really good writing style. And I didn't see the twist coming. I knew there was something with Rachel that wasn't right. But, you know, you start getting halfway through and the way it's written, I started to think, you know what? We're being led astray here. This is a red herring. It might not be her. What if it's her friend Kat? What if it's her friend Kat? What if it's her friend Ben? And, you know, you go off the scent a little bit. So I thought it was excellent. So pick yourself this one. 2018 this came out. So that's the new girl, Ingrid, Alexandra. So there we go. That's the last of the books I read in December 2019. And onwards and upwards to a whole fresh TBR and a whole fresh lovely reading year. So thank you all for joining me. Thank you to all my lovely subscribers, old and new. I've had quite a lot of new subscribers, so welcome, thank you. And yeah, let's look forward to a lovely 2020, a lovely bookish 2020 as well. All right, thanks for joining me. Bye for now.